I need to ask you a question.
Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside fends them off and wins again. Zardozy wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Tell you what, that opener, is Overpass the only one that's still racing?
It's getting worse and worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Put the knocker on a lot of them, haven't we?
Because I'm thinking, Imperatrice to start without a fight injured. Kitty Cat Tom, will we ever see him again? Far out.
There's a few.
There is a lot.
Overpass is not going to be racing in Queensland over the Winter Carnival. Yeah, he got a temperature and a bit of a setback, and so wasn't nom for the Doom 10,000, so we're not going to see him up here.
Well, there you go. I've missed that. Mate, you might see I've got my second at Portsea green on.
Yes.
It wasn't meant to be this afternoon.
No, it wasn't. Look, what I got from that is that was her third run at 1,800 metres. I think our girl Portsea was maybe itching for a little bit further, but, like we said, she doesn't owe us anything.
No. And the way that Damien rode her suggested, and you could see where the eventual winner came from, is middle of the track, 11 metres out the rail was the place to be. So he was looking for that better ground. I think she might have finished fourth if she kept the run on the rail, but I don't think she was winning.
Yeah, she would have been closer, but ultimately, when you got a racing pattern like that, you sort of need a bit of luck. And she's honest as the day is long. She hasn't run a bad race this prep at all.
Absolutely not.
So quick sort of spell. I think Jack Bruce was saying that he'll keep her relatively trim while she's spelling, because I think she held a fair bit of condition for a while when she was preparing for this prep. So she'll be back into July.
Mate, however he prepares them, because when she came back, those first 4 runs when, she was at Ipswich, I think she didn't like it out there for one, but she came...
Yeah, fair enough, girl. Neither do I.
She grew into herself this prep. My God, she looked fantastic from day one.
Yeah, she did.
And full credit to Jack Bruce and the team at High Caliber for getting us into this mare, and of course the bloodstock agent himself, Benny Pace.
BP was in fine form today. Yeah, look, 3 from 6, 50% strike rate for the prep, 2 fourths and a fifth. Like if she can replicate that every prep, we'll be the happiest blokes on planet Earth.
Mate, if she runs, I'm going to say 4th in a Cox Plate, we'll be happy.
Yeah, we'll take top 4. Like a placing would be nice. Yeah, she's a gem. So second at Portsea, great prep. Well done. Thank you. And
just in time, because Counter's not too far away.
Yeah, he's not. Counter, still misbehaving a little bit, but hopefully he R&Ps some easier races up here over the Winter Carnival. I'm hoping that he races either at Doomben or Eagle Farm and not Ipswich, Toowoomba, as someone mentioned, or the Gold Coast. Gold Coast wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I reckon he'd eat up the Sunshine Coast. I want to see him on a big track.
Eat it up.
Yeah, I'd love to see him on a big track. Now, that's a very fascinating hat you have on.
Yeah, if you watch it on YouTube, Drifters, and if you can make it out, I don't know if it's legible from your small tiny inch TV that you're probably watching us on. But this is a Kentucky Derby hat. The 150th anniversary of the Kentucky Derby was this year, and look, I wouldn't say he's the number one ticket holder, because we both know who that is for the podcast, but a very close relation with the number one ticket holder for the podcast. Luke Jones was lucky enough to be, taken over, shouted the trip. Some would say, first class, just like Jack Harlow, glamorous. He was able to go to the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. He works for Brown Foreman, and they own Jack Daniels. So I'm sure there's some sort of link between Jack Daniels and Tennessee and Kentucky and all that.
I'd assume so. But should we get him on and
let's get him on? Let's give him a call. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit.
Yeah, much like some of the horses in the Kentucky Derby. Bit of controversy.
There was some controversy.
Jonesy.
Luke Jones, how you going?
I'm buzzing, mate. I'm doing well.
That's good. Also got Hutcho here, of course, mate.
G'day, Luke. Good to hear from you, mate. I could not believe my text messages when I read them yesterday that you were at the Kentucky Derby, mate. How was it?
As I said, I'm still buzzing, guys. It was just those bucket list, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. And, yeah, in awe. Like, it's such a spectacle. The amount of people there, the money that's bet on the day. And, yeah, it's something that I reckon all your listeners would love to attend, and you guys as well.
Oh, without a doubt, it's got to be bucket list. Some of the footage you were sending through, even of the mounting yard. Your lovely wife was telling me that they spent a fair bit of cash on the mounting yard. That looks phenomenal.
Yeah, so word on the street is they dropped $200 million US on the mounting yard over the off season, and it's special. Like, you get the access, you get the whole setup. It's just next level. And we think about like Melbourne Cup, and you go like, that is just an amazing day.
Yeah,
80-odd thousand people, but here 160,000. Yeah, it's something that I'm still pinching myself about.
So talk to us about, I guess, you've been to some big race meets in Australia, to some of our better tracks like Randwick and Flemington, of course. Like, how's the vibe different, say, between a Melbourne Cup and the day compared to the Kentucky Derby?
I reckon what it is for me was just the true punters that are there. Like, you go to Melbourne Cup and there's a heap of punters there, but there's a whole bunch of people just there to get on the lash and have as many zooper-doobers as they can. But this one just felt like they're actually true punters. They're true fans of the history of the race, and I think it's a pride thing for them too. Like, they just love it. They get dressed up. They definitely have a punt, and I think the packages, like, that's what I couldn't go. Is just what you get for your money over there, and then the scale of what people spend to go as well. America's on another level.
Yeah, it's just like everything they do, right? And so you were brushing shoulders with a big NFL player, weren't you? Who's dating probably the most famous person in the world.
I did have a wow moment when big Travis Kelce just walked past me with his security guards, and it started with some screaming. I was like, "What's going on over there?" And then turn around and there's the Man Mountain just rolling past with his 6 coppers, and there was no eye contact. But I tell everyone else that there was definitely eye contact and a bit of wink stuff.
Yeah, we shared a couple of beers and had a couple of bets. Speaking of betting, so I think you were saying that you picked the winner of the Oaks because the Oaks is a couple of days earlier. That's not a bad effort.
Yeah, I did all right. So because I had the double, so Brian Hernandez is a jockey that won both.
Right.
I read up a bit about him, and he seemed like he had a bit of an opportunity to win, especially because it was so heavy. Like, it was raining all day on the Oaks Day, so it was a real heavy track in the dirt.
Yep.
And so I went on Torpedo Anna, and it just like buzzer to buzzer, just had a great run. And then I didn't load up on him for the next day because I just thought, oh, no chance he's going to the double. Should have, but I definitely had a good day both days. I picked second and third in the Derby.
Yep. Jeez. Just picking winners left, right and centre. You're on a bit of a tear recently, mate.
I have, yeah. Well, I did pick up the wife something nice on the way home, so that all the winnings have gone into that. But yeah, had a pretty good run, and even had like some random people travelling with us just yelling out to me like, "Who are we tipping on next?" and stuff. So felt like I was on a heater. Had a little win on the pineapple blender after that as well. So it's been a good couple of weeks for me.
The pineapple blender.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've got to move on from the Ricky's laptop, guys. We've got to start with a new one.
Yeah, I like that. So, Luke, tell me, how did the good people at Jack Daniels look after you? Like, what was the marquee and the spread? What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like I said, they just do everything on roids over there. So there's a thing called the Woodford Reserve Paddock Club. I think it's about $15,000 US a pass. Like I said, they got money over there. So we had very fortunate to spend the day in like our corporate box suite, which is like finish line level 5, looking down the track. So that was, pretty fancy, like rubbing shoulders with like our global team. And yeah, like I said, very fortunate to work for a big brand like Jack Daniels that invests in big global sporting events. So yeah, it was impressive. And yeah, it's, like I said, it's one of those things that if you can get yourself over there, whether it's a GA ticket or the top of the pick, it's just a spectacle.
Mate, absolutely. Now, by the sounds of it, you would have had the perfect view of the controversy in the Derby itself, where a jockey was unbelievably pushing another horse by the looks of it.
It's unbelievable.
And if you're saying that if the punters there are like actual punters and they're like, you know, it's not necessarily like your corporate crew, there would have been some strong opinions after the race, surely.
Yeah, it took about 20 minutes, I reckon, for them to confirm or go official on it. And I reckon, like there was some serious wages bet on Mystic Dan. I think it was like $210 million US just on the day because Brian Hernandez won on the Friday. They're like, I think everyone's loaded up big time, because when I went to cash my winnings and I thought my great 300 US was like a really good win, the lady in front of me was 8,000 US.
Gee whiz.
So yeah, there's a lot of controversy. I think, you know, with Forever Young being a Japanese horse coming in third, that was the one I think was going to cause a lot of issues, because obviously they don't want a foreign horse to win the Derby. So that was a bit controversial there. But yeah, took forever. I mean, it was an amazing race. Like, just to be honest, like Mystic Dan on that inside rail just ran a perfect race.
Yeah. And, you know, unimpeded compared to the second and third horse. But yeah, like you said, imagine if the Japanese horse came and did it. Like, that would have been obviously huge for Japanese racing, but yeah, the US pundits wouldn't have been too happy.
Well, the Japanese have a massive, like, the holy grail for them is like they've obviously done it all locally. They want to win the Arc.
Yeah.
And they just, I think, who's the Impact? Deep Impact came so close, I think.
Yeah, he did. The Arc de Triomphe. So, and while you were over there as well, Lukey, so you got to see a pretty big stallion over there. Did you end up doing that?
It got pulled on me the last minute.
Oh, did
it?
Yeah,
it got pulled on me the last minute, guys. Yeah, it was. It was just timing with the work stuff. So that would have been a really good one to talk to you guys about. But unfortunately, I can't make that up on this podcast.
No, we wouldn't encourage you to do anything like that on this podcast. We're purely speaking facts on this podcast,
mate. If we had an editor, we would have edited that out. But that's all right.
That's all right. No,
you might get a few more extra people log on for this one then.
Yeah, 100%. Well, mate. Yeah, jealous. That's all I can say. That's definitely that's got to be on the bucket list. I reckon Kentucky Derby and Royal Ascot.
To be honest, guys, being on the podcast has been my bucket list. Like, just to say, g'day drifters. This is the pinnacle for me. So we can you're ticking mine, I'm ticking yours. We're all happy.
Oh, mate, how good!
Tell you what, you have life membership. That's for sure. On the Drift podcast, that's for damn sure.
Look, I was saying as well before you jumped on, Lukey, that. You might not be number one ticket holder, but you're very close to it. Oh, geez, there's a tussle. Like you're fighting for that number one ticket holder status right now. I'm telling you that much for free.
I've got plenty of stories to talk to you boys about offline over a few sherbets or something. We'll have some fun and I'll fill you in the blanks. All right.
That sounds like a plan, mate. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, guys. Thanks for everything. All right. Cheers.
See you, Lukey. Bye.
What did he say? 210, 240?
210 million US.
Wow.
Mate.
That's like, I wonder if we'd get close to that in our biggest races. Like, I'm just thinking of it from a population standpoint, right? That's what, 60 cents per person in the US.
Oh, the Melbourne Cup must have some pretty significant turnover. We could look at that right now, couldn't we?
Yeah, maybe. Melbourne
Cup average turnover. It's around $100 million.
Oh, it's the Melbourne Cup turnover. The figure on my screen is 776 million.
Oh, really?
So, I don't know. That was 2022, maybe. Maybe that was the entire... Yeah, that was the carnival.
That's the carnival.
All
yeah,
right.
so the Melbourne Cup itself is around 100 million. Yeah.
Okay, we're a nation of punters, aren't we? $5 per person.
Mate, we really have a
$4.
crack.
Wow.
We really have a crack, don't we?
So that puts things into perspective. 60 cents here or there for the population of the US.
About $3.50 in the US, isn't there? Yeah.
We're $4 each. Wow. Unbelievable.
You can't punt everywhere in the States, but still, like...
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
But still...
I think if you're the purist, you'll find a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, but yeah, it isn't. Yeah, that's a good point. It's not as like freely regulated as it is here.
Mm.
Wow.
But it was good to have him on. It just makes me want to go.
Yeah.
Like it would be an absolutely phenomenal day. Definitely in the bucket list. I think you'll tick one off. Obviously going to Royal Ascot. Like that's definitely on my list as well.
King's Stand, Queen Anne, and there's another one. And the beauty about it at Royal Ascot is like I think it's like 7 races for the day. So it's like, and they're all quality. The Ascot, Royal Ascot Carnival's fantastic. So I'll definitely be brushing up on my European form over the coming weeks because that's only 6 weeks away.
Mate, yeah, it's coming up very quickly. Royal Ascot, Kentucky Derby, I think the Arc as well. Like getting to the Arc one day, which is
just wet though.
The best weight for age race in the world.
I would love to go to Japan for a meeting because they froth it over there.
Yeah, Sha-Tin as well, international meeting.
Yeah, well, the internet. Yeah, we were talking about that last year.
Yeah. Well, I think our business. I think the requirements of this business should be fulfilled, and one of those requirements is getting to Sha-Tin.
Absolutely, mate, and of course, the good people in NEDS will be fascinated to see what the content is doing over at Royal Ascot. Absolutely, they
Of course they would be.
Yeah. Well, it may as well be a journo on the floor there. Now, should we talk some racing for this weekend?
Yeah, let's do it. It feels so like I feel crestfallen. Like this is a fall from grace talking about the Kentucky Derby and going to the Adelaide Carnival.
Well, I just keep looking at this undercard, right? That first week was so good. Credit where credit's due. These next two are absolute dross.
Falling off.
Absolute dross.
Big load of dross.
It
is dross. Like there's benchmark 68s on a Saturday. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like our girl Portsy just ran a benchmark 70 on a Wednesday in Eagle Farm.
That's true. And they don't even have the midweek meetings there. Well, they might, but they have like one other meeting for the entire week, So it's puzzling. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable about it.
No, they let us on because they heard what we said loud and clear the last couple of years, and they were like, "Let's do something about it." But really, we can't actually do something about it because we just don't have the depth of horses. So they just threw a really hard punch, like a haymaker first up, to try and lure us in. And now look at where we are.
I feel, as you said, I feel let down, but. Let's have a look at this field, The Goodwood, 1,200 metres, Group 1, set weights and penalties. Now, we have Amelia's Jewel, blinkers on, first time, barrier 9, Frosty on, 56.5 kilos, $4.20 with the good people at NEDS. She is the favourite in this field, followed by Benny Dedder, blinkers on, first time for her as well, barrier 3, Jay Carr on, losing nothing there. And then I Am Me, I think, is the next in the line of betting at $7.50. B Shin on barrier 1, 55 kilos. Where'd you land here? You're with Team Millie?
No, not in this race. So I didn't like it from the get-go, her heading towards this race, which is set weights and penalties. If it was weight for age, I think she'd be the right price, $4, right? But it's not. She's poorly weighted in this. Like she has to give... She has to give I Am Me weight, who, has been running in these Group 1 sprints. Benedetta. She has to give Oscar's Fortune weight, a stacker weight. And he ran third to her in the quack up. Learning's Flight's been scratched, but she obviously would have been a big shout as well. So can she win? Yes. I think she's the wrong price for a set weights and penalties race.
Okay, fascinating. Oscar's Fortune is the one that I probably missed in the market, $6. Willie Pike coming over.
Bill!
He hasn't won a Group 1 for a minute, Willie. Barrier 8 for Oscar. 1,200 metres for me is the concern, but if he's going to win one, I think it might be this.
He'll loom up like the winner at some point what's helping him is the fact that he's only got 53.5 kilos on his back and he's drawn well enough. So if he's going to win, it's going to be heart in your mouth type stuff, and will he hold them off?
Yeah, absolutely. Skybird's a filly in form. First up was just a track gallop, and then she came out and absolutely brained him next start.
Yeah, she did. I think she's going to be better out over further, Skybird. She gets in really well at the weight, so she wouldn't shock, but, she's $12 for a reason, I think.
Yeah, okay. So where'd you land?
My girl, Benedetta. What's she done wrong?
0.
Absolutely nothing. She nearly won a Sangster. Gets well into the weights, draws well. J-Car on, big tick. J-Car rode the house down last week, mate, in Adelaide.
She always does.
In rich form, a rich vein of form. Blinkers on first time. This is her go. Like, this is the one. She's been running well all prep. She's never going to find a better time to win a Group 1 than in this race. And I think this is the race for her, Benedetta. Like, this girl started 14 times, and I said to you last time on the podcast, we're talking about her. She hasn't missed the top 4. So you're on a hide into nothing.
That's $6, yeah.
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 And
$6. Three runs at Group 1 level, yet to win. It's kind of getting in, I don't know, it's not really getting in D-Day territory, but with this setup, it's getting close.
I don't think she's a Group 1 weight for age sprinter, Benedetta. I think she's a handicap or SWP, set weights and penalties type Group 1 sprinter.
F&M type of operation.
Yeah, she is. I think she could win weight for age, Fillies and Mares grade. But so this sets up perfectly for her. 5th run of the prep is the small query, whether it's, was that her grand final peak performance last start in the Sangster? And she nearly got the chockies, but not quite. So Benedetta on top for me.
Yeah, okay. I think by looking at her black type record, it's good. 2 Group 1, 2 Group 3 wins, a Group 2 third from 1 attempt, and then 1 Group 1 placing from 3 attempts. I think I want to see her do it with this setup. Like, she obviously has a lot of talent, but she might just be half a length away constantly. So it has to be this time. I'm against her. I'm just not overthinking it.
Yeah.
I reckon Amelia's Jewel is one of the best horses in the country. She has shown that tactical versatility these days, and I think she was good in that Quokka. Overpass is just different gravy over there, back to back. But blinkers on, don't mind that. They're trying something to kind of sharpen her up, and what's that? 3 or 4 weeks between runs too. Don't mind that either. I'd much rather take her than say Oscar's Fortune, because I'm not 100% convinced that Oscar runs out a strong Group 1 standard. Not that this is a Group 1 standard, but 1,200 metres.
He's a 3-year-old, so maybe he just needs a bit of a toughen up. But he wouldn't shock. Amelia's Jewel wouldn't shock me at all, and she could storm over the top of him. I just didn't like it from the get-go when they were nominating her, so they were going to take her here. So there's nothing that's changed my opinion about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she'd be better suited heading
Should have gone to the Doom 10,000.
Doom 10,000 or the Kingston Smith into a Tiara.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the perfect prep for her.
And I understand, Simon Miller sort of saying, and can I just say, Simon Miller, full credit to you, mate. Like, he's been an absolute jet with her. Not salty at all about losing her. Has just been like, this ride's been awesome. Like, that night at the Valley where she ran over the top of Pride of Jenny, like one of the best nights of my life, blah, blah, blah. Like, full credit to him and well done on training her and being so gracious with your time. And, yeah, it's been phenomenal having him sort of, regularly popping up on the East Coast media. And it'd be great for him to get a win with her to end his time training her. If I'm Peter Walsh and I'm the owner, she's had 2 runs this prep. This is going to be a 3rd. I'd be like, okay, don't worry about the spring carnival. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? Like, is she going to come back as well? Is she going to be a healthy, happy horse? Like, strike while the iron's hot. Take her up to Brisbane. Run her in this. run her in a Kingsford Smith, maybe run her in a Stradbroke, run her in a Tiara, because it'll be easy pickings as well, and they're not cheap races.
Mate, the writings on the wall last couple of years with Alligator Blood and Think About It winning the Stradbroke.
Yeah.
Like, that form holds up for the spring. So you don't even need to pull up stumps for the spring. Like, this is, you're right, this is the wrong race.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, you look at the crowd there at Adelaide, right? They're all rugged up. It's so cold there. You come up to Brisbane, the sun's good, and the horses thrive from it. And
they do.
And, you know, it kind of like ticks them over a little bit quicker. Not that I know anything about any of that, but like the writing's on the wall. The Queensland Carnival's the best form reference each year. So of the big carnivals. So, yeah, I would agree with that. So what's your top four?
So Benedetta on top for me. Amelia's Jewel still, you know, running into second for me. I think IME's well in at the weights as well. And I think Skybird, because she's a filly on the rise, she'll be flashing home for a top four spot. Like, I've risked a couple there. But
Four fillies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Fillies, man. They got the boys' measure at the moment.
AJ on top. I have Skybird into second. I think she is definitely a filly on the rise, as you said. IME for third. Benedetta in for fourth.
Benedetta.
What you need, keen to see what he does. And if Arkansas Kid wins, I might have to resign.
Yeah.
Now, there is some racing in Gosford and at the Sunshine Coast, but huge caveat. I don't think we should even bother with Gosford. We might do the coast, but it's a heavy 10 there with like 30 to 40 mils each day coming.
It's looking unlikely.
Yeah, real unlikely. And then the Sunshine Coast is a heavy 10 as well with
not a little bit of rain.
Not as much rain, but it will be genuinely wet. It's just annoying rain here in Brisbane at the moment. It's just like it's sunny at the moment, but
fuck off.
But then we'll get like 5 mil overnight, and it's like, okay. So it's just constantly wet. Can't mow my lawn. It's annoying. So let's roll through this Sunshine Coast program. Race 2 is the Gold Coast Cup, 2,400 metre handicap. This isn't a listed race, but it's a decent little field, and I wanted to shout out the bottom weight Rhodes for Teams Mugs Punting. We're giving this a crack, and this thing's 90-1. Full credit to you, boys.
Full credit to the boys.
Hope you do well. Regal Lion's one of mine. I thought he could feature here. Up in Queensland, the Sunshine State, he won the Ipswich Cup last year. He ran on quite nicely last start. And I think the 2,400 metres, although he hasn't run a 1 out of 7 attempts, I think it does suit him. He's just a get-back run-on horse.
Yes. Pretty lightly raced thing in this. Number 7, Rattle and Hum, Michael Friedman. Kyle Wilson-Taylor goes on. Look, he's been running in provincial. He's been running midweek sort of stuff, but he looks like a horse with a bit of talent. He's 650, draws well. Yeah. Lightly weighted. Worth throw at the stumps.
Why not? Now, the Silk Stocking, 1,400 metres, listed for fillies and mares, is race 3 on your program. I thought this is a really difficult horse to pronounce. Thalassophile.
Yep.
I thought she was well placed here. 5 runs on the heavy, 2 wins, 3/3. Form around Osmos, Lekvart, Well Wall, like that sort of greater horse. Barry 1, J-Mac on 60 kilos, sure, but she's weighted because she is the best horse in this race, so I think she will go very close to winning this.
Yep. I like the look of number 11, Tojaki. Looks to be a horse that's, on the rise, finding some form as of late. Got form around Mullane, who won recently. Stewie Kendrick as well has been in cracking form. That's stable. He's been absolutely smacking it of late. So Tajaki for me.
Smacking it. The Team Green Ken Russell Memorial Classic, 1,200 metres, Group 3, 2-year-olds, open set weights, is race 4 at the Sunny Coast. Perspiration is probably close to favourite here, as he probably should be. Mark Zara on.
450, clear bet for me. Beat Snack Bar comfortably last start, and Snack Bar won on the weekend comfortably. So form reads well. He's $4.50 with Neds at the moment. That's a price you can dive into responsibly, drifters.
One I don't mind, number 13, Poster Girl. So this was, she was still beaten 7 lengths in the 2-year-old Magic Millions Classic by the one and only Storm Boy. But you have a look through the post. She was storming through the line there. Was beaten 2.5 lengths to Storm Boy previous to that at Eagle Farm. So her trial suggested to me that she's come back even better. That trial was only yesterday, I believe. So quick back up into this weekend. Don't mind that at all. So Poster Girl is one at a bit of a price. TC on for Chris Muntz. Could be featuring.
Could be.
Now, the Australian Turf Club Trophy, 1,200 metres listed, is race 5 on the program. What do you do with old Yellow Brick?
You watch him go round.
Have to.
You can't back him in this, and not because he's a bad horse, like at all. Look at his record: 12 starts, 6 wins, 4 seconds, and a third. But draws the car park. Not terribly well weighted in this at all. So you just got to, watch him go around. I think. Because
I'm like, what the hell is Opie doing here? I understand now. He's on that Molly Bloom in the Gold Coast bracelet.
Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense. So you lose nothing with Opie on, but a few here that you can make a case for. Natuna got way too far back.
Way too far back.
Loves the heavy as well, so he could be featuring. Mullane was, as you mentioned him just before, he's appreciating the Sunshine State as well. But yeah, it's a tough little race, this one.
Yeah, I think, Mullane's probably going to be the one for me in the race. Yellow Brick, fascinating. Like, I don't know. If he comes out in Brandon, fantastic. Great to see, because that's a Stradbroke horse through and through, but you've got to see it.
Well, Redina beat him in Queensland on Stradbroke Day, I reckon. Yep. And Yellow Brick was claimed to be the good thing of the day. Not by yours truly, who was on Redina. But Redina goes on to win in Epsom, probably one of the worst Epsoms in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
And that form has not really stood up at all. So, definitely, queries out for Yellow Brick. Need to see him do it. Now, the Gold Coast Guineas is a cracker. 1,200 metres, Group 3 for the 3-year-olds, set weights. My guy Corniche is back. 1,100, Barrier 11, J-Mac on 57 kilos. He's only had the one run on the soft, and that was a soft 5, but he did beat Shinzo before the Golden Slipper in that contest. So he's probably the one for me, but the other one who I think is constantly underrated is Bounding.
I think she is, yeah. She's the one out of that Tiger Shark race where Skirt the Law ran like a busted. She's the one who you're taken out of the race because 1,000 metres is not her jam. She's only missed the placings twice in her career, Bounding, and I think it was the 5th last start over 1,000 metres, and there was a 4th earlier on over 1,000 metres. So she's a 1,400 metre horse, but I saw enough there to back her here. She's talented, Bounding, but I admit Corniche, like, he's a cracking bet as well, I think, and you can probably back both if you're one of those 2-bet Terry types.
Yeah.
And Selly was the other one, Opie Blossom on as well. It was a smart winner last start, but happy to be with the Bounding.
Yeah, keen to see how Steffi Magnetica goes here as well. We saw
Björn.
Yeah. They pulled up stumps after the flight? When Tropical Squall just, lobbed in there. She ran second there.
Tropical Squall?
And she was about $80 into about 15s that day.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the great goes, and they nearly pulled it off. So, we're talking like King Colorado territory, but they, alas, didn't get the chocks. But yeah, race I'm probably more keen to watch than bet into at this stage. But yeah, Bounding and Corniche, that might be a nice little quinella. Now, the Hollandale, 1,800 metres, Group 2, Wape for Rage. No Zaki in this field is disappointing.
Yeah, he had a mortgage on it, didn't he, last few years?
But Annabelle Neesham has a few runners here. She has Numerian, who went over to WA and RMP'd over there. She has Mighty Ulysses, who was a nice last start winner from doing nothing, I think, in the Doncaster perhaps. And then Naval College is a stayer, up-and-coming stayer as well. So, and then she's got Jimi Hendrix.
She's got Jimi Hendrix too.
So does Annabelle just go around again?
Mate, I think she does. I think she does. I I'm not sure if it's going to be either Mighty Ulysses or Jimi Hendrix, but I think they're both a ridiculous price. Like Mighty Ulysses in particular, did absolutely nothing in the George Ryder, like you said. But 5 weeks between runs, came up here and pulled down Jimmy Starr's pants and gave him a little smack bottom. Sometimes those Europeans, to be honest, like we always say this, like Europeans, sometimes they take a while to get going. Sometimes we say the Europeans can just go straight away. So really, I don't know. But from what we saw in that last start, and I've gone back and looked at his form overseas, like that's the horse he is based on last start. And based on that, he should be putting these away, I think. Yep. Huerta could definitely win. But I don't want to dive into him at $3.70. I'd rather take a more lightly raced horse like Mighty Ulysses, based on his potential at $8. And I'd be fascinated to see what the Doomben Cup market's doing with him.
Yeah, agreed. And Richo of Channel 7 Racing.com fame, he likes to back him straight off the boat.
Yep.
Off the plane. He says he basically thinks that their second run, they can be a bit vulnerable, but he was 5 weeks between runs there, acclimatizing a bit more. And you never know, the softish ground might have helped him as well at Eagle Farm. So who knows? The heavy 10 as well might be the best thing for Mighty Ulysses. He's the one I found as well. Fascinated to see how Kovalika goes. Really, really fascinating. Nash on. Love to see that.
I saw an article this week and basically talking about, I think some of the connections being disappointed with him. Oh, yeah, you're a bit disappointed with him.
What do you mean?
Like, yeah.
You're not set up for success, mate.
Since the Queensland Derby, it's like,
It can, all right, so it can turn around real quick, right?
Yeah.
But surely the writing was on the wall in the spring. So the perfect example for this is Ugocha. Trained as a sprinter, didn't work out. They tipped her out after 2 runs maybe.
2 or 3, yeah.
And then gave her a long let off. She got tipped out early spring, came back as a 2-time Group 1 winning mare in the autumn this prep. Like undefeated. He wouldn't have been undefeated, Kovalika, because he needs to get into him, but you could have targeted. You could have targeted Tancred. You could have gone to a Metropolitan. You could even bring him up here for a Doomben Cup, which they're doing, but it's not the original plan.
Since his win in the Queensland Derby, he's gone 1,300 metres, 1,600 metres in the Epsom, which if that was a more truly run race, he would have won. 1,600 metres, King Charles. 1,500 metres, Golden Eagle, ran last, so a bit of an excuse there. Resumes 1,300 metres, 1,500 metres, 1,600 metres. Finally gets to 2,000 metres in a Queen Elizabeth where he was given absolutely no chance to win. Might as well just been a standalone race with Pita Jenny. Like, what do you mean you're disappointed? The bloke's run at 1,300 metres twice. He's gotten to the mile, 3 times? And bro's not doing his best work till he gets to 2,000 metres. What do you mean you're disappointed? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No. The Ocean Parks, they're middle distance horses, aren't they?
Ocean Park brained him in a Cox Plate.
Yeah. So what?
It's a 2,000 metre horse.
What are you expecting?
It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And it's a real shame because lucky he's a gelding because we'll see him for another few years. And I would not be surprised if he wins a big Group 1 weight for age over 2,000 metres, this horse, honestly. But in the next 12 months. But
in the next 3 weeks,
he could win the Doom. Like, he 100% can win the Doomben Cup.
Yeah, absolutely he can.
But I can't have him here.
No, you need to see it.
I can't have him
at
here.
$4. Like, yeah, what's he done last 12 months, right? Last 12 months, he's had 10. This sums it up. 10 runs for 1 win. That was the Queensland Derby. 1 second and a third. So the second would have been what the Epsom, or the third was?
Yep, the second in the Epsom, yeah.
And then, he's placed third in another time. So it would have been the Doom Cup.
Yeah.
So that's the last 3 times that we've seen Kovalika in the top 3. Need to see him do it though.
Who you Mal? Shout out to Sneesby Racing. First up here, obviously targeting some of the features in Queensland. Draws well, so hope to see him run well.
Yeah, well said. Gold Coast Bracelet, 1,800 metres listed for the 3-year-old fillies. Molly Bloom, Group 1 winner over the mile in New Zealand. She looks clearly the horse to beat here. Love to see an Ace-I filly going around. Love to see that.
Really love to see it.
Now, I don't think he handled the wet, did he?
Not at all.
But it looks like she can get through it. So maybe the dam side's a bit got more of a wet track formula there.
Maybe. I think she's the one to beat here, yeah. Heading towards an Oaks, you would imagine. The other one that I thought finished off really nicely last start, but she's the second emergency here, is number 18, Firestorm, in the Waikato Girl race. J-Mac on draws gate 1, so I think Chris Waller's probably got a couple in this race he'll scratch for her, you'd imagine.
You'd say so. Peer Pressure was another one from that race, but Barry at 20 doesn't help her chances, but she's $27. Who won this race last year?
You backed it, didn't you? The Renaissance Woman. I was going to say Revolutionary Miss, but
nah. She's one that I've been lucky with. I know when to steer clear of her and when to
get out of the casino.
So I reckon she's won twice in the last 12 months, and once was there, and the other was on King Charles Day in the last. I think that's all she wrote at the Sunshine Coast. But talking to coast, let's go to the coast. Because I do have a bet here, if this meeting goes ahead, which thoughts and prayers to the people of Gosford, because it is absolutely pissing down. 1,600 metres, class 3 for the 4-year-olds. Hollywood Hero. Now, I tipped this horse out and I sent you a text first up where it was beaten 1.5 lengths to Gringotts, and it was about $15 supported into about 10s, and it got held up, and it would have gone close. It would have been in the finish if it got there, but it was very disappointing next start, but then it came in absolutely brain at Canterbury. So I think this horse is on the right traj. Hollywood Hero, I think he can get the job done if he gets through the heavy ground, if the meeting goes ahead.
I think he will get through the heavy ground. He's by Sacred Falls. Notable progeny of Sacred Falls recently. One mare called Ice Bath.
Okay.
She loved the wet.
She did.
So I'd imagine Hollywood Hero would be able to get through it, and looking at his form in the wet and on the soft, it looks pretty good. So, yeah, I actually saw that he was going to go to this race through Björn's social media, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Draws gate 12 of 12, good. But
heavy ground, mate, might be
heavy ground might be the thing. So, he's a price you could dive into. Other ones are Tabby Time and I Know a Star. I Know a Star's going to be the bunny that they'll need to chase. So, yeah, nice little race.
You know who you could have a Quinella bet with for Hollywood Hero is number 2, Williamsburg. Now, this horse hasn't won for 83 weeks, but he is an absolute mudlark. Loves it. I think this would be the first time he's been on heavy ground in forever. Over a year. So, where he ran 3rd behind Osipenko and Pericles. So, I don't think he finds them here.
No, he does not.
He definitely doesn't. So, Williamsburg is another good one there. Now, I think that's about it.
Yep.
What she wrote. Mate, the Brisbane Winter Carnival is... He said it was heating up, but, I feel like 6 weeks till I'm at Royal Ascot. That means that it's 6 weeks till Stradbroke Day.
Yes. It'll come around before you know it, mate. And, as per usual, the form race of the Spring Carnival, the Stradbroke. So I can't wait. Look, it's nice to talk about the Kentucky Derby. Do you know what it makes me feel like? Kentucky Fried Chicken. K-Fry. That's what it makes me feel like.
I thought you were going to say Jack Daniels.
No, not Jack Daniels. Although he did drop the old Woodford Reserve, which is owned by Brown Foreman as well. It is a nice bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not really an alcohol guy, but I'm not really a bourbon guy or spirits guy. But if I was, I think it would be with the good people of Jack Daniels.
I could see you being a real Woodstock and cola can type guy.
Yeah, cheap, mate. Yeah. Nah, I'm a real gin and soda type of guy.
Yeah, had a couple of them on Saturday. For first time in a long time, went down an absolute treat.
Fascinating time of year for you to have those because they're a real summer drink.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't typically get sick of drinking beers, but there wasn't a lot of options.
Oh, what happened?
There wasn't a lot of options, and the said beers that were on offer, I just wasn't getting around too much. So I was like, you know what, I need to change things up. And post that many beers, it's like there's nothing in particular I really feel like, because I'm not a soft drink guy.
No,
and I'm not going to drink cocktails.
No,
even though I've full respect to them, I'm just not a cocktail guy. No. At that point, so it had to be a GNS, and it was delightful.
I'm proud of you.
It was absolutely delightful.
Well done. If you're having a bet this weekend, do it with Ned's. Gamble responsibly, all that jazz.
Enjoy this weekend, Drifters. See you Sunday.